Good morning. I'd like to call to order the licensing board meeting for Monday, May 24th, 2021. For the record, the members of the board are in person at City Hall, and the applicants and any participating public are operating remotely. Do a roll call, Mrs. Esposito.
Yes, present.
And the chairman is here. For the record, pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. For the record, for the time being, we are a two-member board. Mr. McCoy resigned last Thursday due to his new appointment as the interim chief of staff. So there's just Mrs. Esposito and myself. So that would mean that it would have to be a unanimous decision, either to approve or deny. So knowing that, does the applicant want to go forward with this? Or do you want to wait until our next meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I think we're fine with proceeding with this if you are.
Okay, no, we're fine with it.
Yeah.
All right, so the only matter, is there any public input? We don't have anything that's been submitted. Is there anyone listening or on the Zoom meeting that would like to say anything in general, not regarding this particular matter, in general? There being no one, we'll go to the item on the agenda, is the transfer of beer and wine package store license and change of location. Smiter Co-op DBA Country Farm Convenience Variety, 144 East Main Street, Paresh Patel. Someone here on behalf of this applicant?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Ms. Esposito, it's attorney Mark L. Levin, law offices at 138 Rock Street, Fall River, Massachusetts. I'm here representing Smiter Corporation, doing business as Country Farm Convenience Variety. Also representing Paresh Patel, who is on the Zoom meeting in case you have any questions. Today, what we're presenting to you is a transfer of a package store beer and wine license from a location that's down on the beginning of South Main and North Main Street, from Bull Corporation to my client's corporation that he is an owner of and will be the manager. My client is located in a strip mall down on East Main Street. Most of you know where that area is. It has quite a bit of parking that is sufficient. He's been operating for a number of years at that location. He does very well at that location. It's a frequented strip mall. He, as you see in his petition to you, has a facility which will have an area that is dedicated for beer and wine. He also has storage on the property, which makes it convenient for his work. He has been an employee of other entities that his family has owned over the years. He himself has not had a manager position as a licensed manager of owning and selling alcohol, but he has worked at the facilities that he has had and his family has had to sell alcohol. So he's very experienced in this area. It's nothing new to him. The opportunity came up when this license became available by the people that just happened to be my clients also, where there had been another package store license issued almost across the street from them, and having Economy Liquors up the street really took a toll on their business, so they decided it was time to move this to someone that could use it because they just didn't have the activity. The location where this property is has a good influence of local people that buy convenience from him, and also have obviously ability for wine and beer to be able to sold from the property. The other members of his family that own other companies have been the managers or hold a couple liquor licenses. We're under the no more than 3 cap on this. My client actually rents the unit from a family member. So that whole area is part of their family. As you've seen in the financials, they are paying cash for this. They have the sufficient income in order to buy inventory and to protect the store. They will make upgrades to their computer system to separate the convenience items that are purchased from the beer and wine as required by the ABCC. They have had a great area and participation on that area for the use of their property. They have, in their history of having liquor licenses elsewhere, they have not had any issues concerning any claims by any of the parties. I believe you've already had the query tests have come through that are satisfactory, and that this area that this convenience store is located is in a business area. We verified that before we even got to the point of transferring it. I think you see that there's a long-term lease to the property, which again, it's a family member that owns the facilities. But I think this is a good attribute for this neighborhood. I think my client has experience. Although he, like I said, he hasn't been a licensed manager before, he's had quite a bit of experience over, I think it's been close to 15 years in his family's business, where they have had the alcohol, not just beer and wine, but full alcohol beverages that was sold from that. And I think with that, I should have provided you with enough of the exhibits that gave you the information and the plan for this property, what it looks like, where the shelving will be. I think it'll be a nice attribute to that neighborhood.
Thank you. Mr. Patel, do you have anything you would like to add?
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. My name is Paresh Patel, and I'm operating Smithra Corp since 10 years, since 2008.
Okay. Everything in the file appears to be in order. We do have an approved police report. Everything is here. The one thing that I think I do find this is one of the disadvantages of these Zoom meetings. I do find the diagram a little confusing for myself. However, since this would be a new location, if it were to be approved, it would require an inspection anyway, so that could be clarified. But where is the storage? Is it on this same level?
Yeah, it's only one level, so the storage would be on the cooler, plus there is a small back room.
So where it says the 12-door walk-in cooler?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the alcohol?
That's gonna be like half a soda beverage and half. So we're not like trying to get the much like big package. We're just trying to get the small packages
Right,
at the moment.
but the issue becomes when your hours that you cannot sell alcohol, it has to be cut off from the other items in your store. So you can't I don't think you can have the alcohol and the soda in the same cooler.
I think they have locking doors on those so they can separate.
Well, that's something we'd have to see, because that's been an issue in the past, and most of the establishments that have in the convenience store the alcohol have it totally segregated, so that a lot of them have the metal curtains that they pull around or cover when the alcohol is not being sold. So that's one of my concerns. So I think it would be with the inspection that that would have to come out in the inspection. So I think you need to think about that. That's one of the issues, that you've got to be able to segregate the store so the alcohol is at one area and the groceries and other items are in another area. Are you able to do that, sir? Knowing your store?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can, and if we get approval, then we probably do the whole separate cooler for the alcohol only. in the, you know,
Yeah, because he does have coolers on the one wall where the milk and other things are, so they could probably locate all the non-alcoholic beverages in that area and just keep that back area as the beer and wine
The
area.
beer and wine, okay. I think that's, yeah, I mean, we still need to do the inspection to confirm that, but I think that would be in your best interest to do that.
Yeah.
So I saw in the application too, it says that you would be on the premises, you expect to be on the premises 40 to 60 hours a week. Is that still your intention?
Yes, so yeah, I usually like manage 3 stores. So I goes every other days to the facility.
Okay.
And he works late at night till they
Okay.
close.
And that's my next question. What do you anticipate your hours of sale of alcohol to be?
The sale of alcohol would be, the state is 8 to 11, but we probably opening only 8 to 10. You know, like my operation is 6 to 10, Monday through Sunday, but the alcohol is only 8 to 11, but we won't be open until 11. We will be open until 10 o'clock only.
All right, so
Every day.
so you'd be asking for 8 to 10, 6 days a week?
7 days a week. Sunday is
7
a 10
days a
to.
week, I'm sorry. So 8 to 10?
You can't.
You can't on Sunday, you
Sunday
can't.
it's 10.
Sundays, yeah, Sunday it starts at 10.
Yeah, Sunday 10 to 10.
10 to 10 on Sundays. Monday to Saturday. Okay. Mrs. Esposito, do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions.
Is there anyone else in favor? Is there anyone opposed?
Yes,
Okay, could you state your,
Brian,
could you, first of all, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
sure. Brian Kurt, 118 East Main Street.
Okay,
Okay, one of the things I have, because I didn't know that they were a tenant of the building, some of my remarks were at the maintenance of the building, but I'll get to the point of the people that work there right off the bat. I go in there on a regular basis because I live right next door to them. And when I go in, the clerks that are on duty, 90% of the time they're talking on the phone with somebody. Whom they talk to, I don't know, because I don't, whatever language they're speaking to them in, I don't understand it. But many times I've gone up to the counter and stood there, and they didn't even realize I was there, standing there, waiting to either pay for a newspaper or whatever. My concern is the fact that they're not diligent about what's going on in the room. Now that they want to sell liquor, people will be coming in and they may not even realize they're in, and either steal something or put something in their pocket or whatever, or children, young people, if they find out that they're still not paying attention when they walk in the door, then they may try to go and grab something and stick it in their pocket and leave. And it's on a regular basis. I mean, I go in there all the time, and most of the time they're on the phone talking, and I know they're talking because I hear sometimes the response. And from that standpoint, I am very concerned about it. And honestly, because of it, because of the lack of paying attention by the clerks, if the board does decide to give them a license, I will request that you not allow them to do single unit sales until they can prove that they can pay attention, because my concern is that kids will take, if they can stick a bottle of beer in their pocket because it's beer and wine and not spirits, that they will end up doing it and will end up with a problem. As far as the building, the interior of the building, which would be them, they did just put a new floor down, but kind of poorly done. I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I figured they would want to impress the board, and it's really sloppily done. I could have probably done a better job myself, and I'm not that good at this stuff. I also am concerned about, as the board asked, about how they're going to segregate it, because the only thing I think that has a lock on it is where they have the ice. All of the other places that are all the other coolers that they have there, the doors don't have locks on them at the present time. So I was concerned as how they were going to segregate the liquor before on a Sunday morning since they opened before the law allows them to sell liquor. So I was concerned about that. Now, the other part of this is in general. I've lived next to this place all my life, and they really, at least the ownership portion of it, and I don't know if that has any bearing on this license, but they really kind of do the minimum to keep stuff going. Cleanup is not regular, it's irregular, so the trash kind of piles up a little bit in there. And they and I have a common, on the north side, there's 2 chain link fences, one on the east side of the property and one on the west side. The one on the west side, up until a few months ago, was literally ready to fall down because they hadn't fixed it. It had been damaged by someone, I think, changing a dumpster. And it went on for years, and I got tired of it, and I fixed it myself. And then the one in the back, where Cousin Mike's back door is the emergency exit would be, I guess. That fence is a chain link, and the vertical that holds the fence up, one of them is rusted out at the base, and only the rest of the fence is holding it up. And then I was looking at the back of the building, and they have a drain for the roof, and the drain for that is not working. And I was talking to my neighbor, whose property it abuts, and she says, "Yeah, I've been complaining to them for years about it, and they fixed it, and then a few months later it breaks again." And she was telling me, she has an old picture of her yard when she first bought it 10 years ago, and there were not as many ruts as there are now. And they also, on the emergency exits, at least on my side and in the back, the owners don't usually cut the grass that often. So I mean, if they want to do this selling food, that's fine. If they don't want to pay attention to people roaming around the building, inside the building, and let them and not care about them shoplifting, that's fine. But they want to sell alcohol, and my understanding of the law is you're not sort of entitled to it. You got to kind of prove that that you should get it. And in my opinion, both the way it's operated interior of the building and the way the owner has maintained the outside, I don't believe they've proved that they should get it. And if the board does still decide to do it, I would request that they, 1, prohibit single sales, an individual bottle or whatever, and put several other restrictions until they can prove, 1, that their clerks are attentive, because I can't see them, if they can't see going, people roaming around, I don't know how diligent they'll be on checking IDs and stuff. And I'm concerned about that. So, that being said, I'll end this conversation and hope the board will consider what I said. Thank you.
Thank you. So just so you understand, any license that this board issues is not a right, it's a privilege to have the license. And our enforcement arm is through the police department. They are the ones that go out and do on the day-to-day basis, they're out monitoring what's going on. If they're made aware that there's a problem, they look into it. The board, as a board, we have no control over whether they cut the grass, whether the clerks are attentive. I mean, those are issues that the licensee needs to address. At any time, we've been known, this board, and I've been here quite a while, we've revoked more licenses than any other board in the history of the city for various reasons. So we have no problem doing it, and I always, if you follow the board, you'll see that I've said it many times. Having the license is not your right, it's a privilege, and if you abuse the privilege, you lose the license. I have no problem doing that. The question becoming...
Okay, one more thing before I forget. I'm sorry for interrupting. There's one other thing I wanted to point out. The officers on the annual report to the Secretary of State last year indicated they lived in Fairview Avenue on Dudley, in Dudley. And I was doing some research, and that building was sold recently. I'm just asking if they had updated the board on the board of directors of the corporation, if giving you the latest address.
Mr. Levin?
Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, we gave the board and we provided, I think, picture IDs of the current addresses. I know one of them now lives out of state, but we gave all the current IDs and the current addresses for the...
Excuse me, whoever's phone that is, would you please shut it off?
Yeah, let me, someone was trying to call me, sorry. Yeah, it's because the address at the time was 65 Fairview Avenue in Dudley, Mass. And when I looked that up, that building was sold, according to the internet, about a week or so ago. So I'm just wondering if they gave you an update, because all the
Well,
officers...
just because the building
live
has
at
been
that
sold
address.
doesn't mean they've moved out of the building, sir. You're presuming
Oh,
that they were in that building and left the building. That may not be true, that's a presumption.
Oh, no, I'm just pointing it out to the board so that if they have in fact left the building after, and if they've left the building, the board would have an up-to-date address of the corporate offices, because I understand that's something that you would want to know about.
So, Mr. Levin, what do you have to say about that?
well, I didn't know about the sale. Parish, can you
Yeah.
tell me what's...
Yes.
Obviously,
Okay.
wouldn't know.
We have all the up-to-date addresses at the moment. Corporate officer, is up-to-date new address. You know, he's seen the cells, maybe sell again. Those cells has been made about last year.
Yeah, you'll see on the query request the addresses of each of the people, and they're different addresses where they had lived at Fairview
They asked
Avenue.
two address, like the
Lives
current
on-
address and the previous address.
So we have all the updated addresses. We gave you Fairview as a former address, and each of them have different addresses right now, because none of them are at Fairview at this moment.
Okay. If the board is inclined to approve this resolution, this application, I would just request that we have updated statements from the Secretary of State reflecting the actual address. The police are the ones that check that. There's no mention of it in the police report. Now that it's been brought to our attention, we can certainly look into it, but that certainly is not a basis to deny the application. The other thing that I wanted to say before I was interrupted is, I don't think we have the ability to limit what they can sell and how they can sell it. The license is the license. It covers what it covers. If there's a problem with what they're doing, if clerks are not following the ID requirements and serving to minors, whatever, those items get worked out through the state, through the ABCC and the police department. So all we can do is on the record, if the license looks acceptable. My main concern is I want to go there before I vote on this. I want to see exactly what is there, and then this could be on the agenda in 3 weeks. I'm sorry it delays you, but I don't think it's prudent on our part. Based on you being there, we're here, and we have a piece of paper that I don't really follow or understand. So I'd like to, at this point, unless there's something else that anyone wants to add, I'll make a motion to continue to our next meeting to allow for a site visit of the property.
Mr. Chairman?
Hold on, please. I made a motion, there's no discussion. Mrs. Esposito, do you second that?
That motion,
All
definitely.
right, the motion has been seconded. So, sir, what is it that you have to say?
I have something from the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission, frequently asked questions. And on number 48, it says, can the local licensing authority restrict 15 package store from selling nips, single bottles of beer, etc.? Answer, yes, an LLA may restrict its granting of 15 package store licenses to prohibiting the sale of nips
Okay,
and
thank you
single
very much,
bottles of
Mr.
beer.
Kerr, for that information. And in the meantime, if you recall what I said I don't think, I did not say you cannot. I will look into that, and I will get an opinion from the ABCC on that matter. It's not going to be voted on today. There's a motion to continue. And maybe the next time, we might actually be at the point where we're gonna have people in the city hall, and everyone would be welcome to come down here. I'm not trying to be difficult with anyone, but I think we just need to go and see this property. So, Mrs. Esposito, do you wanna go with me to the site?
Oh, yes. I will
Okay,
go with you.
all right, so
Yes.
what I'm gonna recommend, Mr. Patel, are you there every day?
No, I say like I'm 3 times a week.
Okay, we're gonna tell you when we're gonna be there, and you'll have to make arrangements to be there, okay?
Okay. All right.
Terry, you have any days that are better for you?
No.
No. How about,
Weekends, it's like a Saturday.
no, we'll go during the week.
Okay.
Can't see my clock. How about Tuesday, June 8th at 11 o'clock? Is that okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so it'll be June 8th at 11 o'clock, and that will, Mr. Kurt, that will be posted because 2 members of the board will be present, so it's considered a meeting of the board, so you are welcome to attend as well.
June 8th at 11 o'clock?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other questions or concerns? And on the motion to table, Mrs. Esposito,
No questions?
how do you vote on the motion?
Oh, yes.
All right, Mrs. Esposito votes yes, the chair votes yes, so the matter is continued to our next meeting. Is there anything else to come before the board? Nothing coming before the board, is a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn, which I will second. Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Your time.